On election night, Hendricks appeared to be winning. Kilpatrick again defied the doubters and plunged into his second term. There was much to brag about: a sharp rise in housing, new development downtown, employee concessions to help balance the budget. What's more, the Super Bowl showed Detroit at its best.
You got challenges that you're going to run across.
And his administration, they actually got the Super Bowl.
Okay.
But we had to do all the preparation. He was going out. So when we got the Super, when I got elected, we had just gotten it 6 or 7 months before.
Okay.
And so the Super Bowl was coming in 5 years. So we did the 5-year preparation for the Super Bowl. So everything that you see in Detroit, downtown, the whole changing of downtown, rerouting streets, all of the riverfront development, every one of the casinos, the parks around downtown, all of that was us. And
new restaurants.
Restaurants, the shops. We built 7 hotels in 5 years. And so Detroit hadn't had a new hotel when I took office since 1989. It was the Atheneum was the last new hotel that was built. We built 7 hotels in 5 years. We built out the riverfront. They were talking about the riverfront when I was a kid, developing the riverfront from bridge to bridge, from the Belle Isle Bridge to the Ambassador Bridge. And it never happened. And we did it in 5 years. And so the activism and movement during that time was off the hook. It was really amazing.
I noticed they don't talk about that either. They don't hardly bring that up when they're talking about Kwame. You know what I'm saying? It's like you have to, or somebody else has to bring that up to remind them of all the work that was done.
Any black politician who gets elected to anything, and that includes dog catching, should know that all eyes are on them, that people around them are going to be envious and resentful and corrupt. And there are people out there to corrupt them and to get them to turn on you.
It's you're never going to hear an attack on my work, or you're not going to hear a lifting up of the work. We just hate him. It's going to be all about him, and they're very careful to do that.
See, going back to colonial times and slavery times, the idea was put forth that blacks cannot govern. They're still trying to prove that blacks cannot govern.
I was watching Harry and Meghan on Netflix, and I was listening to Harry talk about what they did with his wife, and they would show William's wife, same kind of dress, and they'll report it in one way. And then they'll show her same dress and they report it in a whole nother way. And he said, there's master manipulation with the press. If people don't believe that there's master manipulation, how they report stories, how they do bylines for the stories. And I'm sitting there like, okay, he understands.
Anybody who does not know that Detroit is surrounded by a bunch of haters, it's not in the real world.
And that's kind of like, it was a campaign. I call it the niggerization process. It was a campaign. I talk about that in the book, to make you the blackest, the most criminal, the most.
That's certainly the message being delivered in the city of Detroit today, that blacks are wholly ineffective in their ability to govern blacks, and that we've had our time in leadership, and that time needs to come and has come and needs to now go. And it's a ridiculous notion.
They used to have cartoons in the papers with me with like dreadlocks with big gold chains. A couple of them I had gold teeth. I said, man, how is this even allowed? But this was prior Black Lives Matter. I don't think they could do that today.
Do it now, yeah.
But I mean, back then it was something. Every day I woke up, it was something like that. I contributed to it at the end, and I don't absolve myself from that. But it was hard sledding. In 2002, 2003, we had the lowest crime rates in the city for 3 years. We were back to 1960s crime rates. Well, that's how we were able to get the Major League Baseball All-Star Game, the G8 or that time Summit. That's how we were able to get a lot of development money and get our bond rating up. But they wouldn't report it. They would not report those things. They would just talk about me.
the Kill Kwame campaign. You know,
Kill Kwame.
What they say? You a combination of Suge Knight, Bumpy Johnson, and who else was Nino Brown?
Yeah, what they said. They said they would show pictures of me with the Borsalito on for the narrative, and it was something. I saw Mike Tyson one time on television. He said, "You have to admire some people's treachery." Mm-hmm. I said, that is a great line. I really did admire how they were able to paint this picture at one time. But then I saw the devastation, not only to my life, my ex-wife's life, my children's lives, but also citizens in the city of Detroit who lost a lot of hope, partially from my, craziness, but the other part of it, because they were constantly sold a message that you're not good enough and who you produce is not good enough. And that's right. That's been destructive to the city as well.
I like how you phrased it. 6'4", 300-pound, black, bold, and educated with an African-American name who walks around with confidence and swagger. It's easy for people to believe all the fake news that was pushed out at that time, because that's the truth. Because if they paint that picture, not saying that you didn't, have not a lot, but something to do with that, because you said that, with your attitude and but the way that they double down and triple down on that, man, and carried that, they still doing it. It's something, I still see that out here. Like when I was just getting ready to interview, I was going through YouTube, and I'm like, good gracious, it's 1 million videos out here of you, man, and they still pound. I'm like, there's no need to talk about that. If they want to hear about that, they can go to YouTube and watch all of that stuff, man, because there's so much out there, man.
So much. I mean, I didn't even know it was as much as it is. My sons used to tell me about it on visits, and I said, why do y'all watch this stuff? It's like, it's crazy. They was on there arguing with people and talking about it. I said, just leave it alone. I could say on this part of life is helpful because whether it's Sony or all the people who are coming to us now about opportunities, whether it's a docu-series or whether it's a scripted piece, is good because it's so much about Kwame Kilpatrick. Who knows? When I moved to Dallas, you could ask the average person in town, including my neighbor Kenny. He had no idea who the mayor was. Right. I'm telling you, he didn't even know his name or anything. But the focal point of the mayor of Detroit is such a different thing, like the mayor of Chicago, the mayor of Detroit. There are times where people are so focused on City Hall. And then I've been gone 20-something years. And people still, I was just in Orlando yesterday. And I was at this leadership summit with Bishop Jakes. And the people are, hey, I'm walking around like, how do you even, I don't remember. I was in the U.S. Conference of Mayors, and I don't even remember about 80% of the people who were mayors at that time. I don't. But people remember because of YouTube and the name over and over in the news cycles. And, by the grace of God, it's helpful now to doing new things in my life.
Yeah. I never could understand this, and maybe you could explain this to me. When you found out that your attorney was not really on your side and you requested to get a new attorney, why wouldn't they let that happen? Because I remember how you painted the picture when you walked around the table and said, man, I'm going to beat your ass.
Yeah.
Make sure that you like and subscribe and hit the all button and all that kind of stuff, because we're going to have a lot of good interviews on this podcast.